Hello, welcome, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day, whatever time of the day it is. Hello and welcome once again to the Barbarian Council. We're on episode 2. Episode 1 went well over 100 views, so thanks so much for that. So I thought, why not go on with the second one and ride the momentum a little bit. And today I'm going to be discussing Gears eSports, past, present, the end, and speculating a little on the future. With me today, I'm joined by a man who probably needs no introduction among the Gears community, but let's try and give him a little one anyway. An EU champion, many years under his belt playing the game, has been travelling around the world playing it across multiple titles. I'm joined by the one, the only, KBreaker. How are you today, Breaker?
I'm brilliant, mate. Thank you, Darren. Thank you for having me, and yeah, let's go.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. If you could, like I sort of did with Terry last week, if you could tell us a little bit about you, how Gears came into your life, so to speak, and your journey across the Gears games, so we can sort of discuss your pedigree, if you like, on the topic of Gears, and especially focusing this episode with Gears eSports.
Yeah, sure. So when I first got into Gears, it was Gears 1, and it was actually completely by accident. It's actually meant to get Turok, I believe, and it wasn't in stock, so my mum got me Gears of War, said it was too gory for me, and ended up loving it ever since. With the competing side of things, though, I came in Gears 3. I used to just play pubs with Phelpsy back in Gears 2 and stuff, and play Wingman, and he suggested, let's play GBs, let's give it a try. And I said, yeah, okay, let's have a gander, and played GBs in Gears 3, no lands on that. Obviously the game was it was alive, but it was dead for money and no tournaments and stuff. And then, yeah, UE came along, went to my first event with the boys over in STM, basically, and made pro in Gears 5, first international major that I qualified for, Gears 5 as well. And yeah, just a long journey, a lot of tournaments played in, a lot of game time and hours grinding, and yeah, what a journey it's been.
Well, yeah, I suppose it's. I know you're still sort of dabbling now at the end, and the most recent finals obviously ending off Gears EU eSports, and I know coming shortly is the end of is the major across the pond, that it's all sort of coming to its end. But you like you say, a journey from Gears 3 right through in climaxing for you in championship EU champion. How did that feel, going that whole journey and then finally sort of getting it and winning it and becoming the European champion?
Honestly, it was crazy because I've been like at a decent level throughout, like Gears 3, UE, I was always like top 4 abouts. But Gears 4 was my worst Gears, and I've contemplated quitting loads on that game. But then to bounce back in Gears 5, first of all, obviously qualifier for Pro League with my boys felt good. But then winning that championship with the Prosperous or Hive team, which I think is my best team I've ever had, that was surreal, and it was something I've grinded hard for. And to win with your boys, it's great to win, but to win with people that you genuinely, like, in a sense, love. Like, I love them boys. I love playing with them. Like, we played every day. Even if it wasn't Gears, we played with each other every day. And yeah, winning that was really good. Like, it was about time, to be honest. I gave it enough attempts to try and get it, but yeah, it was great.
Well, it's better late than never, I suppose. I mean, you got it done. Do you know what I mean? However long the grind takes, you got it done. You got there in the end, and you can always say, like, yeah, I was best in Europe on that game. Like, got that done.
Yeah.
But so why, touching on that, because Gears, again, we touched on last week. Gears has never really been a consistent game across the entire series, is it? Even on when you look at individual games, the tunings and everything changes so much. But what specifically would you say with Gears 4 that was really sort of grinding your gears, so to speak?
I just felt like in every Gears game I played, the shotgun was strong. Like, you could get bricked from like a considerable distance, and you really had to push people with respect, and you had to be really skilled to pull it off. In Gears 4, I felt the shotgun was way too weak, and the chunk range was inconsistent, and, you know, saying it politely, idiots could just do what they wanted, and I felt like a smart player, like, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but like someone that plays methodical, smart Gears like myself, I couldn't hack it, and individually I weren't good enough to keep up with these goons in a sense, and that's where I think I struggled. I weren't individually good enough to keep up with them, and it was sort of rattle me at the fact that, like, they're playing stupid Gears, I'm playing smart Gears, but they're always beating me, and that's what always done my head in with Gears 4. And then, you know, I will say as well, like, it's not just the game. What also done my head in was the fact that I was probably, like, really hated back in Gears 4. Like, nobody really respected me, I don't think. I probably gave a few, you know, I got lippy a few times maybe as well. But yeah, it was the game being more, like, suited to idiot players for me. I know some people will disagree with that, but that's just my personal opinion. That and also being, like, hated and everyone being on my back, like, the two together, like, my mental was just gone at all times, near enough. Like, I couldn't hack Gears 4.
Yeah, sort of just play a bit more on autopilot rather than enjoying the
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, basically, it wasn't enjoyable at all. I think the only team I genuinely enjoyed and actually enjoyed playing the game with was the E4 team that went Mexico, because, again, it was similar vibe to, like, Stimulate, Hive, and Prosperous and Obey, where it was like my brothers. So I was going to an event with my brothers that I love playing with, put a lot of work in, and stuff like that. That's probably the only time I enjoyed Gears 4. The rest of it, I was proper miserable, to be honest.
I think even out of the eSports conversation, I think that's it's a fair point to make. I think every person, especially the people who've been in the Gears community longer, can probably say at one time or another they were deeply unhappy with the game.
Oh, yeah.
We've had that much variation in Lancer strength, shotgun strength, all this craziness, and I think everyone has just had a point where they're just like, yeah, this is terrible. And that's the thing with the Gears community. Most of these people do take to Twitter, they take to the forums, they're very loud about it, they're very passionate about it, and it can create sort of hostility, toxicity off the rip. But on that topic, a thing I've noticed especially with the Gears community, is the comp side don't really get on with the content side, and none of those get on with the ranked or pub players. There's no sort of agreements within the community. Everyone is very divided on guns, game modes, what and everything. And I think a strong representative of that is Gears eSport as a whole, as its journey. Because if you look at it from when it started with Execution, then they introduced King of the Hill, and then with Gears 4, like now we're playing Escalation, this fucking brand new game mode that no one's ever played or heard of before, but let's just go with that. Then Gears 5, they took that to an absolute mentalness. Let's just give everyone boom shots and drop shots and see what happens. And Gears 5 has done a whole U-turn on that and brought Execution back in Control. And it's all over the shop. And I feel that represents Gears eSports, but it represents Gears as a whole as well. But coming from the eSports side and the competitive side and travelling the world and playing these times, like, how is that, knowing that essentially every few months you could be playing a different game, essentially?
Yeah, the stability is absolutely shambolic, to be honest with you. I always tell this story because I couldn't believe what I was hearing, to be honest, with the San Diego event, and when they said to us, by the way, just letting all you guys know, basically you're playing a completely different game to what you've been practicing for this event for. And we were like, what? Like, okay, well, what's happened? They said, well, strafe speed's increased, this has increased, this has been nerfed. It's like, oh yeah, just letting you know, but don't tell the others, because, you know, we don't want everyone to know. And I was like, well, it literally says Gears of War 5 beta on the Xboxes, and we're playing the full version of the game. So it's like, well, how do you hide that, you know. And that to me summed up everything with, well, I won't say TC exactly, but just Gears in general. Stability is just, you don't know what's going to happen. It's like, for example, again, the first split of Gears 5, my opinion, I thought was very good. They had the respawns, which I liked. I thought it made teams have to play their life, value their life, and make good team pushes or they'll get punished. But obviously the issue was, like you said, boom shots on home hills and, you know, all this crazy stuff. And it's like, well, why have you done that? You took it out in Gears 4 when people complained about double snipers, and now you're putting boom shots on it after people told you not to do power weapons on home hills. It doesn't add up. But then they fixed that, and we complain about them again. They fixed it, and we're like, yes, okay, we're on the right track. And then they changed the shotgun for no reason. Nobody complained about the shotgun, and then it's like, why? You fix one thing to break another. And that shotgun, for me, was the most balanced shotgun I've seen in the TC era of Gears. And I thought that was very good, all round, just solid. And they broke it. And I don't think it's been fixed since, to be honest. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? You see, as you mentioned, people complain sort of all the time. Everyone's got their own way that they think the guns should work.
Yeah.
But I think TC, especially, I know it's easy to bash on TC, right? Because they are the current flame bearers, if you like.
Yeah.
So they're the ones we're wanting info from. They're the ones we blame for stuff, and we've been with them a while now. But like you say, there's been a lot of times, both for just the game as a whole, but for eSports, where TC have just made sort of unilateral decisions and just changed things.
Yeah.
Coin the game that sort of no one's mentioned or wanted, like speed boosts and fucking and melee speed boosts and up air speed boosts. Let's play Mario Kart or some shit. We had someone from TC saying like it's been absolutely crazy. But like as we say, we've also had that back in the day when you think of the original games with Epic. They did the same. Like Gears 2, that went through 6 updates, like of its tuning through its lifespan, and that game is held among the community. 2 and 3, those are the ones that you see that are held sort of on the pedestal. But even those, they weren't consistent. We've never had that. We've never had a Gears game that sort of launched and went like, yes, this is good. We've got it right, and we only need to make minor adjustments as we go. And it's funny you should say with Gears 5, when that came out, like when UE first launched, I remember really, really liking that tuning for the shotgun and stuff. They're like quite a long distance on a headshot if you like hit a full spread in the face with the shotgun. But I remember really enjoying that tune, and when I think of the Gears, that's probably my favourite tune, even though Gears 2 is probably my favourite Gears game.
Yeah, UE was very good, to be fair. Like, what... The overall like core mechanics of the game were good, but the issue is obviously they just reskinned the game and they kept all the coding issues, and it wasn't. Well, there's 2 issues I had with LAN, and one of them is a major one. The other one isn't as bad because it isn't consistent, but one was consistent. You can ask any player that played on LAN on UE, when you would throw a smoke grenade anywhere, it would disappear. And it's like, well, you know when, for example, you play Clock Tower, right, and you're on the wall. It's a pistol fight, and you can get headshot with the pistols. And when you're triggering a smoke grenade to defend yourself, it's like, gone. Like you can't survive. And it's obviously the movement was clunky, so getting off the wall, you just get headshotted every time. And that was the part of UE being a bit bad, was the fact they didn't fix that. But overall, yeah, UE was really good. I enjoyed. UE was very boring at times, with people camping and getting rifted by like Syntax and co. But other than that, the game, I did like UE, to be fair. And I do want to say as well that, you know, when I'm sort of giving little digs to TC like about Gears 5 or Gears 4, it's not like the blame circle, like a pie chart. It's not all them.
Oh yeah, I say the same. You've got
to
you put it down. I'd say it's probably a 50-50. It's the community and then the developer. Or probably I'd give them about 40% each. Yeah. And then I'd take 20% to this like unknown, unagreeable area. The fact that no one can ever agree is just there.
Yeah. I think for me, I would say 60% of it is on TC. Personally, that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a good 20 to 25 then is the community in terms of esport players, montages, ranked players, so on, so on. I think they have part to blame, and they always say like, "Oh, it's you," and then he'll go, "No, it's you," and it's like it's always pointing to someone else rather than taking your own responsibility. And then I think the other percentage, and some people will probably disagree with me on this, but I think tournament organisers have a part to blame in it as well.
Well, hang on. Well, hang on. I
No,
will
not
have you
yourself.
know.
You mean
I
like,
will have you know. The Barbarian Arena runs nothing
Yeah.
but above board tournaments and brings high quality entertainment
yeah.
every time, right?
Oh Barbarian Arenas were goated, to be fair. Nah, not them, but like, people will say like, oh, they were good because they gave us these great majors, but like, I don't agree with some of the decisions they made. So like, just to touch up on it a little bit, MLG with the Paris event, I think it was MLG, and if you remember, we had Gfinity London in Gears 4. That had a good turnout, right? A lot of EU teams went, a lot of American teams went, and it was a good experience. But then the issue is I think it was like a month and a half or 2 months later, you had the Paris event, and it's like, well, the issue is with Europe is we ain't got salaries. Even the top teams haven't got salaries to quit their job and to play just Gears of War, and they can turn up to these events. People have to get time off work, and for Europe, that made Paris like look awful. I think we only had like 12 to 14 teams when the game was popping, and then the American teams, and then that's basically what ended up getting EU to have no majors after that point, because they said, "Oh, well, the turn up was awful. Like, we're not hosting another major in EU." And it's like, well, you only give us a month and a half time to get stuff sorted for it, and I thought it was unfair to blame us for that, and so on. But then, yeah, there's other stuff as well. Like I didn't agree with the pro point system in Gears 4 with the 2Ks. I didn't like that system at all. And then obviously PGL system with how the Pro League worked and everything like that. I also didn't agree with that either. I don't know. I think the tournament organisations definitely have a part to blame, as well as the community and majority of TC, I think, personally.
I mean, yeah, you say that, and you're right. You mentioned on Gears 4. I remember at the back end, like when I attended my first Gears LAN event was Sheffield.
Yeah.
And I went to the 3 events there that happened in the space of 5 months. They did Sheffield, London,
So Nottingham was one?
and then Liverpool, was it?
Oh, the last event. Was that the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Liverpool then, yeah.
Yeah, like, and that was three tournaments in the space of 5 months. And it's like you say, like it's like they don't acknowledge the fact that Europe is like America. It's massive. Like there's water between some of these countries and shit, and teams can't travel like that 3 times in 5 months, especially for $15,000 prize pools. Like it's really not worth it. You'd make more sense dividing that prize pool lower down, pay more places, and then you'd have more chance of some local teams turning up from the area. Like at least, like it's just, and then because it always does me when they blame and like they right. So NA casters, I'm trying not to name too many names and stuff, but they go all EU doesn't turn out teams, and I always come with a statement. If you see, you can go from my tweets. I come through with this fucking essay at them every time, explaining how they fucking fucked it over. Like they fucked it up. Maybe they weren't directly trying to fuck EU, but like they just done it badly. And you can't say like when you've done 3 events in the space of fucking 5 months and there's a bad turnout on the 3rd one, there's a drop in teams from the first 2.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's going to be.
Yeah. The way they look at it is like they always look at it as like a business point of view of like they don't care about the reasoning, they just see numbers, and it's like, well, okay, Europe, they don't get numbers, so why are we going to keep providing Europe these tournaments and stuff, or these events, when they don't show up? And it's like, if you just close yourself off and look at it that way only, yeah, fair enough, like you get it, but there's so many reasons why these results are happening, and that's what they're not ready to look at and take responsibility for. They just They just want to pass the blame on to someone else instead of realizing, okay, maybe we could have gave it like a 3 month like span until the next event, so like teams can actually get time off work, get money, and actually go and get good practice before that next event as well. And yeah, for me it was I don't know, like they just pass blame all the time, and I never agreed with any of that.
I think it's a thing. Yeah, there's TC, or at least people who sort of speak or defend from that point of view. It's always, what about this? What about this? And I know I'm a bit like that, but I do accept the community are to blame as well. Do you know what I mean? As I say, but I think TC, especially on the esports side of it, it's again, you always talk with gears. It goes hand in hand with the inconsistent, and even if you're not going to organise it well, at least organise it consistently. Like, so then people know how it's structured, what they're playing for, and what the plan of action is. And I feel TC especially haven't been great with that on the esports side. And to be fair, they haven't been great with that on the game side as well. When you look at the battle, the battle passes or whatever they've got, like the seasons and stuff for ranked, and how it's the game changed massively on Gears 5. Each time there was a new ranked season, the game was just like a completely different game. Like it was, but like holding like I know people go, oh, it's still Gears. Yeah, it's still Gears, but when you're making these such major changes to weapon tunings, movement speeds, and other bits and bobs, like it changes the gameplay every single time. And for you, from a comp point of view, as you say, with this long journey, climaxing as an EU champion, like that's just most frustrating more than anything.
Yeah, the only thing that mainly frustrates me is like, obviously, I had a great team coming to the end of when the game was active, and it's like, if TC could have just done a lot better at the start of the game and made it more consistent, the player base would be higher, the viewership would be higher, it'd be great. Like, for example, at the start of the game, the ranking system was awful. Like, it wasn't good at all. And then, like you said, the season pass thing, or whatever it was called at the time, the Tour of Duty, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I think that's its name. Yeah, the Tour of Duty.
Yeah, and it's like, it looked lazy. Like, they looked like they could have done a lot more. I've seen like community stuff where people have made their own stuff, and it looks a lot better than what they've done. And it was just laziness. Like, it may not even be laziness, to be fair. It might have been rushed, because I know they came out and said that they released it probably a year too early. But then I don't understand why they don't delay it if it's too early. Like, in my head, they done the marketing perfect. That's the only thing.
Every time they fucking nailed it.
Yeah, but what's the point of nailing the marketing if the product is going to be, a shambles? Like, we had more players than Fortnite, and Fortnite was popping at the time. And that says a lot to me. Like, you had Dr. Disrespect looking at bloody Domes' YouTube videos, learning how to wall bounce. Like,
and then going on the game and lagging everywhere and disconnecting.
Yeah, and it's just like, how can you do so well and then just fumble the bag and just completely collapse? Like, I don't know. They done so much right, but also done so much wrong. But then I do want to touch up quickly on like the community stuff, like, because obviously we've talked a lot about TC. I don't want to just keep heaping shit on them. but like, what would have been good, I think, and I think I only seen it once at an event, but like, obviously, yourself, like, esport players don't like montages, vice versa, and then the ranked players. But then the way to get the community going is having these LAN events, and then having these YouTubers and montages come to our events. They don't even have to play; just go vlog, like Shadows and Raw done. Like have a crowd, like, and esport players are guilty for this as well. Like, they need to be doing this as well. Like, this is the part to blame that esport players have. The two parts they have to blame is obviously they're toxic towards other communities, and it's kind of hard to get involved and in. And obviously the egos and stuff like that, trying to get into good rosters and stuff, is obviously hard as well. But they gotta produce content. Like, I know European gears, like, Krim would stream, Hydron would stream. Nobody really posts on YouTube though, but people would stream, and NA do that, but they have a bigger platform. Like, they have a huge platform, and they should have used YouTube earlier. They're doing it a little bit now, but it's too late now. But they should have done it earlier, and even collabed with these other YouTubers, and just, just keep it growing and growing. Have, just get everyone involved. But the issue is just like everyone's passionate about their one group. So like eSport players are passionate about their competing stuff.
It's kind of
narrow-minded. Just love their clips. And it's like, you ever say one bad thing, though, you get a whole army of people like, nah. And it's just constant arguing, and nobody's actually just together, at all.
Well, it's like
yeah.
A prime example of that when you talk about this, right? So you're talking comp players versus montages, right? Just as an example for the mentalness of the Gears community, right? You can watch an event, right? Pro League, Pro Series, Major, whatever. A guy will get the sniper, whoever, fucking bodies 3 people off the rip. It makes an awesome play. Like, it might not win the round because it's escalation or control or whatever, but like, it's just an awesome play.
Yeah.
And they'll post it, and montages will instantly jump on it. Cause it's fucking shit. Like, it's blah blah blah, and then people start arguing about quality of clip and like the level of person you're hitting it on versus the situation that you're in. And it's just like, can't we all just agree that was fucking impressive? Like, that was nice. Like, that was very, very well played, and it was done in a pressure situation. It is the comp side of it. They are the best players in the world. Like, but people just want to go at each other. With Gears, it feels like it is that sort of narrow-mindedness. Everyone's in their own clique, their own group. Yeah. But they all want to fight with each other all the time.
It doesn't make sense. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not trying to speak like down on it, because I've probably been guilty of it myself.
You can't really speak down on much because you're quite small.
But yeah, so maybe looking up at them, I'm like, oh well, no, so on. But yeah, I lost track now. But yeah, it's like, I'm probably guilty of it myself. Like, truth be told, I probably have done it myself. But I always say, like, if you're gonna chat shit, you gotta be able to do better or similar. And like, I was seeing people posting clips, and they were like, "Oh, better than Exploits," because I know that was the main clip about him. It's like, I'm better than Exploits, and I seen him miss 5 shots, roll around everywhere, hit 1 lucky blind fire, roll again, and then hard aim and kill someone. He only killed 2 people out of 9 bullets, and I was like, you can't chat shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't bring that to the table and use that as your thing to chat shit with. I remember, I think there's a guy, I'll shout him out, I think his name was Rob Ames or something like that. I can't remember his name. That might be a compliment, actually, I don't know. But it was something Ames, his name was, and he posted a sick clip, and it wasn't even to chat shit. But I remember I commented on it, and I said, if you're a montager, that's the level that you gotta bring to chat shit to someone like Exploits who'd done that clip. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's alright having a few digs, but
like, feels a bit baity, but what you were actually doing was exactly what you were saying. Yeah. You were meaning what you say. Like, that is the level of montage clip I expect you to go, I'm as good as that's the same level as a pro playing for $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. And it's thing is, not many of them can do it, but like, they just, I don't know, they just stick together, don't they? Like, it doesn't matter. It could be Tim and Barry TV they're killing, and then it'll just be like, oh my god, look how sick this is. Like, I killed 2 people. Like, I'm better than fucking Gilbert. Like, it's like, no, like, you're not. Just...
Well, I like, with the Barbarian Arena, I always did try and encourage everyone to play. Like, I always did try. I know I'm not official programmer or anything, but I always did try and get everyone to play, because I do think everyone has these things, and I try to host a variety of tournaments, get people involved. But it's like you say, because everyone's in these little groups, when it comes to Gears eSports, it's very hard to get, at this point, it's very hard to get new players into the eSports scene. It's hard to get current ranked hard montages, whatever players, into the comp community. People don't really make that transition. Part of it is, like you've touched with, is with the egos and whatnot, but part of it is this sort of like, but you're a montager, like, oh, but I play ranked. Yeah. It's like, but we could all just be playing. I remember one of the good things, let's touch on something good TC did. One of the EGL finals, they offered a camo to everyone who entered, and we hit max teams.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Right, because people wanted the skin set. There's just a small example. If they'd have been doing that every tournament, like if you had across the season, right? Like here's, I don't know, a camo for example, Black Phantom, right?
Yeah.
Every week across a series that you play, you get a fucking gun,
Yeah.
and then in the finals you get the main loadout set.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your incentive to play. Because when they did that, numbers came.
Yeah.
Because they want the skins. Content creators want the skins to make videos with the skins. Montages want to make clips with the skins. And collectors just want the skins. And then the skins hopefully look good. And it goes with. That's like the small moments we do. But it's hard otherwise to get these people involved. Like they just don't want to be, like you say. And it makes Gears eSports hard to grow in that sense, and I feel that's always been one of the things that stunted its growth.
Yeah, it's thing is obviously some people just don't want to compete, and you're just like, you don't have. It'd be good if you turn up and showed numbers and help out. Obviously, if you don't want to compete, like obviously nobody's gonna force you, but yeah, it would have been nice to find a way to get them involved and to actually want to like. One thing that I think helped in Gears 3 days was probably NTC with Jimmy B, Keza, and Graylin, and they picked up Moo Milk, which obviously Moo Milk had like 50,000 subscribers or something stupid at the time, and he never played comp before, like I don't think ever, and it's like that.
I remember
merge,
playing. I don't with Moo just before we go. I remember Moo playing GB on Gears 2.
Yeah.
But I don't think he ever like competed.
Full blown, yeah. It's probably like I don't know if I was for content because I didn't really play like competitively on Gears 2, so I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
But just from my point of view, like something like that, like it wouldn't happen now because unless you're good, that's the only way you'd get picked up. But that probably helped a lot back then with like montages and like having like comp players wanting to do YouTube content, but then also bringing YouTubers to wanting to compete. So like. I think like you had like all the Essence boys, like I think you had like Simo, Trinder, what was his name? Like I think Shades might have done it back then. Twists, like there were so many players that weren't they were YouTubers and it was good. It brought them in, but for the modern day, I don't think it would have that effect on it anymore. And it's you gotta find a way of wanting them to be there and. I think first of all you gotta make events that they want to go to, even if they don't compete. Just be like fans, vlog and stuff. There's gotta be a way to get them involved and get everyone, getting along with each other. Like I think Shadows and Raw done that well. Like everyone got along with them. They went to London and competed with Chid, Callion, and Thing. And I thought that was the start. I thought we were actually,
yeah, like here is
we're bridging the gap.
Yeah, people are going to start getting along.
A Sliver, if you remember Sliver, like John. Even John, like John obviously was mainly a competitor, but he'd done loads of YouTube vlogs on going to events and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I really thought that Gears 4 London event when you've seen Raw, Shadows, and like Sliver all doing content, I was like, yeah, this is gonna get big, but yeah, it's just too many bad factors that ended up making it go downhill and crashing bad, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? Like again, it's the stars have never sort of aligned with Gears, where it's all just went nicely.
Yeah.
So we've had this rocky journey from Gears 1 all the way through now to Gears 5. Went from Epic to People Can Fly to were the Black Tusk? Was it called before they became the Coalition?
Black Tusk before Coalition.
It is the Coalition, but that's when they acquired it. They were Black Tusk, weren't they? But like it's a hard thing to do. So, but yeah, we've had like a rough journey with it, and it's been difficult. Now we're here. Gears eSport is over or on pause.
On a very long-term break, I would say.
Yeah, on sabbatical.
Basically, it's gonna be a year or two, I imagine, and everyone will probably be back. Like every Gears brings people back, so everyone will come back. I imagine a lot of people probably quit when they realise they're not good enough anymore as well. But hoping that it comes out sooner than later, and it's actually done correctly and done right. So we actually get the views, the money, the player base, the hype that Gears actually does deserve, to be honest.
Yeah, it does deserve. It's debatable, but yeah. But so quickly on that, if we look at the future, what we want, like say a year, 2 years, we're sort of expecting 2024 to get news, not necessarily a game, but some form of news. I know people will obviously get hype around every game showcase between now and when we actually get news. But firstly, what would you rather get? Phoenix Collection, Gears 6?
Gears 6.
Yeah.
I think with the Phoenix Collection, they would just be preying on nostalgia, hoping nostalgia makes the game active, makes the game work well. But the truth is, if a Phoenix Collection came out, I would not have faith in it being good, personally. I think it'd be a lot of bugs, a lot of problems, and are they really going to keep updating each title that they're bringing out on that Phoenix Collection? I just don't see it. I'm so glad they didn't do it.
Well, yeah. I think we agree on that. I think everyone sort of knows my opinion on it. I've been quite vocal on it.
Yeah.
I would rather have Gears 6, take the time, do what they want, get it sort of done. But as an eSports player, like you say, most will be back. Whether playing and competing, or just back for the competing, or just back for the playing. People are going to come back. And like you say, with the Phoenix Collection, well, like we've spoke about, to be fair, that nostalgia is not enough. It's not enough for it to grow, not enough for it to build upon. Like, because those people have grown up. Like, this was touching 20 years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's a different market now. It's a different field of play. But I think, like you say, Gears does deserve it, and it has the potential to do it. It is a dark, a gritty shooter. It's violent. People like violence. Do you know what I mean? They like Gears. It's the gore of it and the
personality for the players as well, though. Like, it's not like other games. Like, you see Halo, for example, and you look at like the top Halo pros, and none of them have real personality when I watch their streams. Like, maybe Formal does, but he's mainly known as a COD man these days. Like, well, not throughout his career, but they don't really have the personality, whereas Gears do. Like, you could watch the majority of Gears comp players, and you'll be laughing your head off of some of the stuff they come out with. It's brilliant, but they need to stream, and they need to make content. They need to start doing it, and it's the only way. Like you said, nostalgia is not enough. Nostalgia's a kickstart. That's the thing. It's a kickstart. It can get the ball rolling, but then you need to do everything right after that to keep it going. And like I said, I wouldn't have faith in them doing that, personally. Not on short term and like how quick they would have made the game. I don't think so. I'd rather them, like you said, take their time, do it properly, have a proper eSports roadmap done early, events booked.
Just
early.
drop your first year, I'd say. Have your first year eSports. Like, so you drop your game, and so you just go, okay, game's released, eSports after it's been out a couple of days, you just tweet out, or you do a stream or a blog or whatever, and you like, right, it's 2 months after release, this 1 year roadmap starts.
Yeah.
Couple of EU events, obviously NA events, LATAM events, and then like a couple of majors like dotted about, get that sort of right, get a structure set up. But when Gears 6 comes, because we know it's going to come eventually. What do you want to see from the competitive side? So do you want to see more execution back again? Do you want to see control, escalation, something new? Do you want to see we'll talk about it a little bit more, but the BR introduction, the introduction of a battle royale, because that introduces another comp side, like that you can have, like Warzone and COD have two separate comps. They have two separate esports, two separate communities, and obviously a battle royale is a good way of bringing these content creators and people who do this stuff into the fold and trying to sort of get that together.
Yeah, I think with the whole BR conversation, I think it's not for me. with Gears, personally. That's just how I am. I just think with Gears it'd be really hard to pull off. With all the different factors and all. But if they can do it and do it right, 100% do it. But it's going to be very hard to do it with Gears. If there's a first-person shooter, like say for example Halo, if Halo was going to go and do it, I think they announced they are doing it, right?
Yeah.
With Halo, you could see it. You could see they can do it. There's a way of doing it with Halo. With Gears, it'd be very hard. I don't know. If they could do it, do it. But I personally wouldn't go for it. But what I would like to see in Gears 6 personally, especially on the eSports side anyway, as I said, the roadmap would be good so everyone knows exactly what's going on. There's time frames so people can book their holidays off for everything. But they need to focus on grassroots. And it's the key to everything. It's the key to make everything big. I can use a perfect example right now of a game that's massive, but the amateur scene is struggling, and that's COD. So the COD Pro League is perfect because they got all the viewers, all the orgs, they got all the money. They're brilliant, but the amateur scene has no way of getting into Pro League unless a pro team wants to pick them up as a sub or as a player. And they compete for nothing. I think they play. I think first place or the top two get paid, and that's it. And it's like there's nothing for them. And with Gears, if I refer to Gears 5 especially, it was top for Europe as well. There's 4 EU teams. Only one team got relegated, but they could always get back in, and that's what happened. I was the team getting relegated, but I would always, win the LCQ and qualify back in. So it's the same 4 teams. Same similar results, apart from maybe Rated R and Elevate flipping around. And that was it. And for me, personally, I think they need to do 8 Pro League teams, maybe 6, but I'll say 8 for now. And they have 2 automatically relegated and make the 6th team be like playing an LCQ to qualify. And then have the top 2 amateurs go up, and then have an LCQ for the rest of the challenger teams to qualify. And that, for me, means that you have 2 new EU teams every single time. You got 8 teams fighting each other. And for example, like most people would know, the top 4, the level between the top 4 and everyone below is drastic. But having a pro league where these other teams have to take it more serious and they're in professional orgs and they're contracted and they're having to scrim us to get better, it ups the levels of Europe. It means that we have better players, and that means we could do better internationally as well. But then you also have a way of the amateur teams to get in there and obviously have something to play for. It keeps them hungry. It keeps the scene active. And the main thing that they have to focus on, for me personally, in Gears eSports is grassroots.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that focus on that is there. Like you sort of know, everyone has the idea, and there's a solid idea of what you need from a pro league and your pro teams. Like I mentioned earlier, you could offer skins in a challenger series weekly. That would pull people even who just want the skins.
Yeah.
You don't need. I've always stood by the fact, especially with the Gears community, that people don't need a lot of money to be competing for when you're not pro level. Like the pros, they're going to want a little bit of salary and something to play for in the pro league. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But the amateur scene, they don't need much. Like just give them something to actually play for and a prospect for something to play for distance. Like you say, spots, because outside of the top 4 EU teams, that second 4 would be fought for. The 2 that would get relegated, they would actually have to fight to get back in, because the EU scene is that sort of competitive in that sense. Like fucking bum like, but do you know what I mean? It is. That's the way the EU scene is. There isn't a huge chunk of teams that are all battling out. There's a big gap, like you say. There's like the top 4, and then there's everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I'm just trying to think of an example. It's kind of hard to use the recent EU tourney as an example because there's only like 12 to 14 teams. But actually, I'll tell you what's a good example. I remember there was a team with T-Banged, Rowdy, Bertie, Shadows, and they finished 12th, right? Now imagine a team at that time like them competing against a team that's finishing 6th, 7th, and 8th. Yeah. They would have the potential to beat them and actually get into the Pro League. There's potential there. And it's like, that incentive alone would make people grind, would make people go over stuff and be more professional, and the levels would just increase overall, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right, isn't it? You get the roadmap, you get the grassroots, you set the situation and the environment for this grassroots amateur scene to be nurtured and to step up, and that's how you could grow it. And then you have these major events where you would bring the pro league teams from EU to go play the NA, the LATAM teams, and then have proper majors, and you could turn it into something great.
Yeah.
But again, it's all well and good saying it, but with also Gears 6, you have to make sure the game fucking works and is, for the first time in Gears history, a consistent Gears game. That's a major factor there. But it is, we can dream, we can hope, we can think on it, and it would be nice to see. Like, I'm hopeful. I know people in the community are hopeful. It's a little dead at the minute. I get it. EU's just ended. NA LATAM is about to end with their last major. There's not many Gears sort of tournaments about, but it's going to be a little bit of a wait. Like, for the community, for the comp players, for everyone, it's going to be a little bit of a wait. People are going to make what content they make, or they're going to go to other games to play whatever. But touching on that subject, between now and 2024, as a comp player, that needs to compete doesn't just go away. I know I've quit from competing. It took a little while to kind of get used to being like not getting onto scrim or whatever. But what are you thinking for your competitive plans for the foreseeable future? And if you would recommend games to go to?
If the one game majorly I would recommend to anyone right now is Apex. Personally, I think Apex does it right with the grassroots. I think the teams have plenty of opportunities to get into Pro League and get spotted and to do well. The game is just massive. Every comp player you see has like 20,000 to 5,000 viewers on Twitch. They're massive. And the game is very balanced. It gets updated regularly. And it's just a fun game, to be honest with you. I love playing it. And personally, for my comp career, obviously, Gears, I'm going to have a break for and wait for that. But I want to try and compete in Apex if possible. See what I can do, if I can do well in it. And if I do, I'll probably stick to it when Gears 6 comes around, and maybe go to the odd event and compete, or maybe do a bit of casting or a little coach work, I don't know. But if it doesn't go well, then you can definitely expect me back for Gears 6. And that doesn't just mean competing. I may look at coaching roles. I may look at being a caster or an analyst or something like that. Obviously, I'd like to compete, but obviously I don't know how I'm going to be in 2 years' time. So I can only hope that I still got the same levels, not touching Gears for 2 years. But hopefully I'll be back to Gears 6, but I'm going to be trying out Apex for the foreseeable future.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Apex is one of those big titles out there now, especially from an esports scene that's doing well. We've just had Naraka has just come to the Game Pass for Xbox gamers as well. That's got a comp scene growing. There's plenty of games around. Apex is definitely one that is doing it right. A lot of the things we say that we hope for Gears 6, Apex is doing, and it is doing right. But it's been a fun one. It's been a great episode, a good chat, and much touched on through the esports history of Gears. It is sad to see it go, for now at least, but we're hopeful for the future, at least on this side of the pond. Breaker, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Darren. It's a pleasure to be on. Thank you for inviting me, and hopefully it's not the last time we have a little podcast session together. Yeah,
definitely get you on in the future. Maybe get someone else on, and we can have maybe a content creator on. Let's try and build some bridges and try and see if we can
stir the pot a little bit, maybe.
Let's see what happens there. But I've been your host, Peace Del Bossman, my guest Breaker, and I will catch you next time, guys.